High above us, in the vast expanse of the sky, a new kind of threat is emerging. These are not your typical hot air balloons carrying tourists for a scenic view. These are high-altitude balloons, sophisticated platforms with the potential to change the face of warfare. For centuries, balloons have captured our imagination, offering a glimpse into the heavens. From early experiments in flight to modern-day weather observation, these lighter-than-air craft have played a significant role in our history. Now, a new chapter is being written, one where balloons could become silent sentinels, watching from above. These balloons are not limited by fuel like airplanes. They can stay aloft for days, even weeks, silently observing the world below. Equipped with advanced sensors and cameras, they can gather intelligence, track movements, and even direct attacks. This is not science fiction. It's the reality of modern warfare. The United States Army is at the forefront of this technological advancement, exploring the use of high-altitude balloons as motherships for drones. Imagine a fleet of drones launched from a balloon floating silently at the edge of space. These drones could provide surveillance, conduct reconnaissance, and even carry out strikes with pinpoint accuracy. This concept, while still in its early stages, has the potential to revolutionize warfare. The balloons, acting as mobile command centers, could deploy swarms of drones to overwhelm enemy defenses. They could also provide a persistent presence over battlefields, relaying real-time information to commanders on the ground. The strategic benefits are undeniable. High-altitude balloons are difficult to detect, even with sophisticated radar systems. They operate above the range of most anti-aircraft weapons, making them difficult to target. And their ability to deploy a variety of payloads, from sensors to drones to weapons, makes them a versatile and potentially game-changing asset. But this technology is not without its risks. The same capabilities that make these balloons so appealing to the U.S. Army could also be exploited by adversaries. The alarm bells rang loud and clear in early 2023 when a Chinese surveillance balloon was detected over the continental United States. This was not a weather balloon, as Chinese officials claimed, but a sophisticated intelligence gathering platform equipped with advanced sensors and cameras. The balloon's appearance sent shockwaves through the U.S. government and the public alike. It was a stark reminder that even in the 21st century, the skies above us are not entirely secure. The incident also highlighted the growing threat posed by China, which has been rapidly expanding its military capabilities in recent years. The Chinese balloon incident was a wake-up call for the United States and its allies. It demonstrated the vulnerability of even the most powerful nations to this new form of aerial surveillance. It also underscored the need for a comprehensive strategy to counter the threat posed by high-altitude balloons. The world watched as the balloon drifted across the country, a silent reminder of the growing tensions between the United States and China. The threat posed by high-altitude balloons is not limited to the United States. China has already deployed these platforms over other countries, including Japan, India, and the Philippines. And it is not just China that is developing this technology. Russia, Iran, and other nations are also investing heavily in high-altitude balloons, recognizing their potential for intelligence gathering, surveillance, and even offensive operations. The proliferation of this technology is a worrying trend, with the potential to destabilize regions and spark conflict. Imagine a world where the skies are filled with these silent sentinels, each one representing the eyes and ears of a nation-state. The potential for misunderstandings, miscalculations, and even accidental escalation of conflict is significant. The international community must work together to establish norms and rules governing the use of high-altitude balloons. Failure to do so could have dangerous consequences. Section 5. Balloons of War. While the use of high-altitude balloons for surveillance is concerning enough, the prospect of these platforms being used for offensive military operations is even more alarming. These balloons could be armed with missiles, bombs, or even chemical or biological weapons posing a direct threat to civilian populations. The use of high-altitude balloons in warfare would represent a significant escalation of hostilities. Their ability to strike from unexpected angles, bypass traditional air defenses, and deliver devastating payloads could alter the balance of power in regional conflicts. The international community must condemn any use of high-altitude balloons for offensive military purposes. The development and deployment of such weapon systems would be a dangerous and destabilizing development. The future of warfare hangs in the balance. Will these balloons be used for peace or for destruction? Section 6. Land grab. Adding to the concerns surrounding China's high-altitude balloon program is the country's aggressive acquisition of land near sensitive U.S. military installations. In recent years, Chinese companies have purchased vast tracts of farmland in close proximity to U.S. military bases. These land purchases have raised alarm bells within the U.S. government, with many officials concerned that China is seeking to establish a strategic advantage on American soil. The proximity of these lands to U.S. military bases raises the possibility of espionage, sabotage, or even attacks on U.S. forces. While Chinese officials claim that these land purchases are purely for agricultural purposes, the timing and location of these acquisitions have fueled suspicions. The U.S. government has taken steps to restrict foreign ownership of land near military bases, but more needs to be done to address this growing threat. The Chinese land grab is a stark reminder that the United States is not immune to foreign threats, even within its own borders. Section 7. Hidden dangers. The threat posed by high-altitude balloons is not always obvious. These platforms operate in a gray zone, blurring the lines between peace and war. Their use for surveillance may not constitute an act of war, but it can certainly be seen as a hostile act. Moreover, the technology used in high-altitude balloons is constantly evolving. What may seem like a harmless weather balloon today could be equipped with advanced sensors and weapon systems tomorrow. The international community must remain vigilant and adapt to this rapidly changing threat landscape. The dangers posed by high-altitude balloons are real and growing. We must not wait until it is too late to address this emerging threat to global security. The eyes of the world are watching. We must act now to prevent a future where the skies are filled with silent and deadly threats. Section 8. A new battlefield. The emergence of high-altitude balloons as a potential weapon platform marks a new chapter in the history of warfare. The battlefield is no longer confined to land, sea, or even air. The vast expanse of near space is now a contested domain. This new battlefield presents unique challenges for military strategists and policymakers. Traditional rules of engagement may not apply. New technologies and tactics will be needed to counter the threat posed by high-altitude balloons. The world's militaries are scrambling to adapt to this new reality. Investments in anti-balloon weapons systems, counter-drone technologies, and space-based sensors are all on the rise. The future of warfare is being written in the skies above us.
Section 9. The Future of Warfare. The development and deployment of high-altitude balloons as weapons platforms is a concerning trend that could have far-reaching consequences for global security. These platforms have the potential to destabilize regions, spark conflict, and even threaten the very fabric of international order. The international community must work together to address this emerging threat. This includes establishing clear norms and rules governing the use of high-altitude balloons, developing effective countermeasures, and fostering dialogue and cooperation between nations. The future of warfare is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The skies above us are no longer a sanctuary. They are a new battleground in a world increasingly defined by technological advancement and geopolitical rivalry. The time to act is now, before it is too late.